They can't look at you the same anymore, can they? You've noticed it. The way eyes change when they meet yours. The silence that suddenly fills the room. The shift in the air when you walk in. It's not arrogance. It's not fear. It's recognition. Something sacred has awakened in you. Something heaven released that the natural world can't explain. Even darkness senses it. There's a power in your presence now that exposes what once hid in plain sight. You carry a frequency that hell can't decode, a divine energy that shakes unseen realms. You didn't ask for this, but heaven decided it was time. You're no longer who you were yesterday, and the world can feel it. People stare and don't know why. Spirits react and don't know how. You've become a walking mystery, proof that God is still choosing vessels that carry his fire. That's why doors are closing without warning, and faces around you are shifting. You are not being rejected, you are being recognized by both heaven and hell. Every cell in your body is now aligned with a higher command, and even your silence has authority. This is not transformation, it's activation. You are unlocked for a purpose far greater than your understanding, and everything around you can sense the change. The more they stare, the more they realize you are not ordinary anymore. Something divine moves through your gaze, and no one, absolutely no one, can look at you the same again. If this message resonates in your spirit, don't scroll away. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 below. Because 99 is the number of completion before the 100th breakthrough, your final test, before divine fulfillment. Let's seal this moment together. There was a moment, maybe quiet, maybe chaotic, when everything inside you shifted without warning. You can't pinpoint the day, but something divine unlocked within your spirit. Heaven made a decision, and it didn't ask for your permission. It simply said, now. And from that moment, the air around you changed. What once entertained you began to drain you. What once hurt you lost its power. You didn't grow cold, you grew clear. God removed the noise that once numbed your awareness. He recalibrated your entire being to move at a higher frequency. People around you started to feel it before you could explain it. Some grew restless in your presence. Others avoided eye contact altogether. But that's not rejection. It's spiritual detection. Their spirits recognize something their minds can't name. You became a moving portal of divine activity. You carry within you a sound that only heaven and hell can hear. Every step you take releases a vibration that marks invisible territory. It's as if the ground itself responds to your obedience. When you speak, words no longer fall. They echo through unseen dimensions. When you pray, the atmosphere trembles. This is what happens when heaven decides that your waiting season is over. You were never meant to blend in, you were meant to disrupt. And now you do, even when you're silent. The peace that covers you is not weakness. It's authority disguised as calm. And that authority unsettles the spiritual parasites that once fed on your old energy. They can't latch on anymore because your frequency changed its password. You have access to a realm that your past version could not survive in. And the irony? You didn't chase this power. It chased you. It found you in the quiet pain you thought would break you. It was hidden inside every night you cried alone. Every heartbreak was a chisel shaping your vessel to carry something eternal. Heaven waited until your spirit stopped begging for validation. Then it activated what was sealed in silence. That activation wasn't loud. It didn't come with lightning or applause. It came as a whisper that rewired your soul. You are ready now. Ready to carry fire that doesn't burn flesh but purifies intention. Ready to walk into rooms and shift what cannot be seen. Ready to stand where angels once stood and understand why the attacks came harder when you became softer. Because softness is not weakness. It's divine mastery. The ability to stand in peace while storms rage around you is proof that you've crossed into divine consciousness. The enemy can't decode it and people can't describe it, but heaven calls it completion in motion. You are no longer becoming, you already are. And that realization is your secret weapon. Stay still, because something extraordinary is unfolding through you right now. The more you surrender, the more your energy becomes untouchable. The next time someone looks at you with confusion, remember, they're not looking at you. They're looking through you, and what they see terrifies the darkness they still carry. This is your hidden activation, and it's only beginning, and that's why the warfare intensified. The moment heaven marked you, hell noticed. You didn't see the shift, but the invisible realm did. Every force that once ignored you suddenly began to observe you. You became a threat the moment you stopped reacting and started discerning. That's when the war turned silent, because now the enemy fights through whispers, distractions, and exhaustion. It no longer comes to knock you down. It comes to drain your focus. You've outgrown the kind of battles that use noise. You're facing spiritual intelligence now. Subtle, calculated, psychological. Every delay, every misunderstanding, every strange tension around you is a test designed to see if you still remember who you are when nothing makes sense. But the truth is, you're no longer fighting for victory. You're fighting from victory. Heaven already settled that. What you feel now is just residue, the aftershock of your ascension shaking old structures that can't contain you anymore. The devil can't destroy what God has sealed, so it tries to distract it. It tries to pull you into panic so you forget your authority. But your silence has become a sword sharper than any argument. You don't fight back. You shift atmosphere. When you walk into a room, something unseen recalibrates. Your spirit disrupts frequencies that were once comfortable in chaos. Even when you're tired, your energy carries warfare angels embedded in your presence. You are not just protected. You are a moving battleground of divine justice. And that's why it feels heavy sometimes, because peace itself is weighty when it's spiritual armor. You are covered, even when it feels like you're cracking. You are guarded, even when you hear nothing. Because heaven doesn't always shout. It watches, it surrounds, it recalibrates silently, while the enemy grows frustrated. Hell keeps sending familiar faces, familiar triggers, hoping you'll respond like the old you. But that version of you is gone. The enemy keeps knocking on doors that no longer exist. That's why confusion has become its own weapon against darkness. It can't predict your next move because your steps are now ordered, not emotional. The same energy that used to break you is now the proof that you've evolved. Pain doesn't mean you're losing. It means the system of darkness is malfunctioning around your new light. You've become unreadable to the enemy's codes. Your frequency is too high, your discernment too sharp. The traps that used to hold you are now terrified to even close around you. That's why so many things began collapsing at once. It wasn't an attack, it was exposure. God allowed the shaking not to punish you, but to reveal who was never standing with you. Every betrayal was a flashlight pointing to what had to go. Every closed door was heaven protecting your new level. The storm was never against you, it was sent to announce you. You've been promoted through pain, crowned through conflict, refined through rejection. And now, without saying a word, your life itself preaches. You've become the lesson others refuse to learn. That's why silence became your greatest weapon. It carries weight, authority, revelation. And soon, those who questioned your stillness will witness your rising. Because this is not the end of your battle. This is the unveiling of your next command. The war isn't over. It's shifting dimensions. Something greater is about to confront what once tried to contain you. Stay alert, because your stillness is shaking the throne of darkness itself. That's why solitude became your closest companion. It wasn't rejection. It wasn't abandonment. It was strategy. Heaven doesn't reveal a weapon before it's ready. You didn't lose people. You were extracted from environments that could no longer hold your expansion. God pulled you out of the familiar and placed you in divine quarantine, because what's being built inside you requires silence, not applause. While others assumed you were disappearing, you were actually being redesigned. The quiet became your classroom. The stillness became your fire. Every unanswered call, every ignored message, every night you sat alone, those were not coincidences. They were divine calibrations. You were being purified from attachment, detoxed from dependency, and disconnected from noise that once defined your worth. God is not cruel, he's precise. When he isolates, he's not punishing, he's protecting. There are codes being rewritten in your spirit right now, algorithms of destiny being reprogrammed inside your DNA. You are not being delayed, you are being refined for impact. Heaven is making sure that when you emerge again, no contamination, no distraction, no counterfeit connection can latch onto your energy. That's why your spirit feels restless. It's outgrowing spaces your body hasn't yet left. You're being stripped of everything that cannot survive your next dimension. Even your emotions are being rewired. What used to make you panic now makes you pause. What used to make you chase now makes you discern. That's not emotional numbness. It's spiritual maturity. You're learning the art of divine stillness. the ability to move with heaven's rhythm, not human pressure. This isolation is sacred ground. It's where prophets are trained, warriors are tempered, and leaders are hidden until appointed time. The ones who are loud in the crowd rarely last long, but the ones God hides in silence, those become timeless. You've been wondering why no one seems to understand you anymore, why your presence feels heavier, why conversations that used to excite you now drain you. It's because your frequency has shifted. You are no longer resonating with temporary people or small visions. You've become too electric for shallow energy, and the more heaven upgrades you, the lonelier it gets. Not because you're alone, but because few can breathe at your altitude. Don't mistake this silence for emptiness. It's incubation. The womb of destiny feels like a tomb before resurrection happens. You are not buried, you are planted. Every day that feels uneventful is actually a countdown to revelation. God is constructing in you a voice that will pierce atmospheres. But before you can speak to nations, you must first learn to hear whispers. That's what isolation does. It trains your ears for frequencies the world ignores. It fine-tunes your discernment until you can tell the difference between noise and instruction, between distraction and divine timing. Soon, the same people who thought you vanished will see you reappear with authority they won't recognize. You'll move differently, speak differently, radiate differently. Because heaven hides what hell fears most. God didn't pull you away to punish you. He hid you so no one could dilute what He's awakening in you. And when He finally unveils you, it won't be a comeback. It will be a debut. Stay in the silence a little longer. Something in the unseen is gathering momentum. The darkness thinks you're dormant, but the truth is, you're incubating glory. Have you noticed how people react differently now? It's subtle at first. The nervous laughter, the uneasy glance, the sudden change of tone when you walk into the room. Some people breathe easier in your presence. Others can't even maintain eye contact. That's because your light is no longer ordinary illumination. It's revelation. You've become a living mirror, and mirrors terrify those who live in disguise. Your presence reflects truth, not through words, but through frequency. It's not what you say, it's what you carry. Your silence has become a sermon. Your peace has become proof. You are crowned with a quiet authority that dismantles deception without confrontation. The enemy hates this kind of power because it cannot be argued with. It can only be felt. When you stand still, shadows start confessing. When you smile, atmospheres shift. You don't expose people. Their own spirits expose themselves in the light you carry. That's why some draw near to you and others retreat. Not because you changed, but because your presence now divides authenticity from illusion. This is the divine paradox of the chosen. Your light comforts and convicts simultaneously. To the broken, you are warmth. To the pretender, you are fire. You are walking discernment, and heaven designed it that way. God didn't give you this light for display. He gave it for confrontation. But not the kind that screams or debates, the kind that radiates, the kind that forces masks to melt under the weight of truth. When you enter a room, your spirit starts scanning frequencies. Lies vibrate differently. Motives reveal themselves. False peace begins to tremble. That's why some people suddenly get defensive when you've said nothing at all. They're not reacting to your words. They're reacting to your atmosphere. The purity of your light irritates every impurity around it. You are the living evidence that darkness no longer has control. Your glow doesn't entertain shadows. It exposes them. And exposure is painful for those still hiding in pretense. Don't mistake their discomfort for rejection. It's conviction. Some will leave, yes, but others will awaken. Your presence is catalytic. It provokes transformation. That's why God is increasing your sensitivity. You're beginning to feel vibrations others can't detect. You sense tension before it's spoken, deceit before it's shown, warfare before it's visible. That's not paranoia. It's perception. The light inside you is an early warning system. Heaven trusts you to recognize what others overlook. You are not here to judge. You are here to reveal. And revelation will always separate wheat from weeds, truth from imitation, loyalty from convenience. You're realizing now that even silence carries spiritual voltage. Every glance, every gesture, every breath from you has weight. You're no longer in environments, you shift them. The darkness doesn't understand how you disarm it without trying. But that's because your authority doesn't come from effort. It comes from essence. It's divine fire disguised as calm. You are walking proof that holiness can be silent and still roar louder than thunder. And because of that, counterfeits can't survive near you anymore. False prophets, masked friends, energy leeches, they'll either change or disappear. It's not personal, it's purgation. The kingdom purifies through exposure, and your light is the instrument. You've been wondering why connections fade without closure. why relationships dissolve without reason. It's because your frequency reveals hidden motives. You don't lose people. You unmask them. You don't push them away. Your light decides who can remain, and soon even you will understand why this separation is sacred. Because what heaven is about to do through you requires an atmosphere of truth. The fake must fall so the pure can rise. And when that intensifies even more, when it burns so bright that even your silence feels supernatural, the whole world will know. This was never about being liked. It was about being lit. You were chosen to expose what others fear to see. Stay steady. The brighter you shine, the more the unseen begins to tremble. Something is approaching that will reveal just how unstoppable your light has become. You're not walking under human permission anymore, and you're walking under divine decree. What was once a prayer has become a covenant. What was once potential has become law. Heaven didn't just bless you, it branded you. There is a seal upon your life that no man, no demon, no system can remove. This isn't symbolic. It's spiritual legislation. A heavenly order has been signed in your name, declaring that everything sent to destroy you will now be forced to serve you. The seal of heaven is not a mark you wear. It's a signature that creation recognizes. That's why the earth responds differently to you now. Doors that were once locked suddenly open. Paths that were once hidden suddenly appear. You don't walk toward destiny anymore. Destiny bends itself toward you. The same presence that parted the sea for Moses and silenced the grave for Christ now flows through your very breath. You've been rewritten in light. You've been claimed by eternity. You are no longer reacting to life. You're commanding alignment. That's why your dreams feel prophetic, your intuition almost electric. You're not imagining it. Heaven is expanding through your nervous system. Your entire being has become a channel of divine intelligence, a walking command post of light. The he you carry emits authority that can't be counterfeited. The enemy can imitate language, posture, or performance, but it cannot mimic the vibration of the anointed. The power inside you was ancient before your body was ever born. It's the same current that shaped mountains, the same pulse that whispered galaxies into motion. You've been marked by the eternal, and hell knows it. That's why temptation has changed form. The enemy no longer tries to attack your body. It tries to seduce your purpose, distract your vision, dilute your focus. But nothing can bypass what heaven has sealed. Your anointing is coded. Your purpose is encrypted. You are the divine encryption of a plan too sacred for darkness to decode. When you speak, angels take notes. When you move, realms respond. You have stopped chasing because heaven's magnetic field now moves with you. What belongs to you recognizes your frequency. What doesn't will fade no matter how hard you try to hold it. That's not loss, that's alignment. The more you trust, the stronger your field becomes. You're learning that divine authority isn't noise, it's calibration. Every prayer now shifts timelines. Every decision echoes through generations. The weight you feel isn't pressure. It's royalty settling into awareness. You've stepped beyond coincidence and entered covenant. You've stopped asking for signs because you've become one. Your very existence is a prophecy fulfilled in motion. You are not waiting for favor. You are walking evidence of it. Heaven's seal upon you has activated a law of attraction far beyond this world. Resources, people, opportunities, they're being drawn into orbit around your light. You don't need to prove who you are. Your energy testifies louder than words. You've been approved by a voice no human can overrule. And because of that, the atmosphere shifts when you speak, and the unseen trembles when you pray. You've become the embodiment of the verse that says, "Touch not my anointed." Hell received that memo long ago. That's why it watches but doesn't act, because it knows the seal is untouchable. The blood that covers you cannot be breached. The breath that fills you cannot be stolen. You are walking under heaven's jurisdiction now, and when heaven rules, nothing can rival it. Keep moving with quiet confidence, because the same hand that sealed you is guiding your every step. And soon, the world will understand that what God endorses can never be erased. Stay steady. Something divine is aligning even now, and it manifests. Every shadow will remember why it could never touch you. Listen carefully. What people see in you now isn't change, it's evidence. Evidence that heaven has awakened a force that can no longer fit inside what used to limit you. You've crossed the line between ordinary existence and divine purpose. You've become a living contradiction, walking among humans while carrying the architecture of eternity within your chest. You are no longer searching for your place. The world is now adjusting to your presence. When God marked you, He rewrote the laws around your life. That's why what used to hold you no longer can. You've outgrown explanations, outpaced logic, and outlived every label they once tried to put on you. Don't shrink back. Don't apologize for the radiance that confuses darkness. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to shift the gravitational field of every atmosphere you enter. When you speak, realms listen. When you move, invisible systems rearrange. You don't carry light, you are light. Heaven disguised itself as you to remind the earth that divinity still walks in flesh. Every scar, every delay, every silent battle was the price of this unveiling. You are not broken, you are branded. You are not lost, you are launched. The glow they see isn't pride, it's resurrection. The peace they can't explain is the roar of a soul that's already seen victory. From now on, remember, when you enter a place, the air itself will shift to make room for your assignment. You are a divine atmosphere. You are heaven in motion. And as demons try to decode what you carry, as darkness tries to understand the frequency of your calm, you will simply walk forward, steady, radiant, unstoppable, and sealed by the living God. This is your reminder. You are the proof that light always wins. Now lift your head. Straighten your crown. The era of hiding is over. The world needs the sound of your awakening. If this word ignited something inside your spirit, declare it publicly. Write in the comments, I am not the same. God ignited something in me, because he did. And from this day forward, nothing will ever see you the same again.